Sara Letourneau. Tell us about yourself. Tell us the story of Sara. How did you get started? Started when you were 5 years old. You've always wanted to be in the real estate business, and
Yeah, no, it's kind of
actually,
similar
not
like
at all.
that. It's funny. I bought my first house back in 95, 96, and I had this great realtor. Her name was Sheila Walters. Met her at an open house, and gosh, it was so easy. Real estate just looked like, boy, houses were coming and going back in those days. It was, I bought my first house for $78,000 down in South Minneapolis, and I was always intrigued by real estate, just about the market, the pricing, the searching. There was a lot of it that I just thought I would be interested in, but was always nervous to leave my job, right? Leave my pay, leave my benefits and all of that. And
safety and security.
Yeah, the safety and security, and then I got laid off. And
so the decision was made for you.
That's right.
Well, it's interesting. I went and I was doing consulting work. And I don't know why, at that point, I never woke up and said, why don't I go do what I really have always wanted to do? So it took me 2 years of doing this consulting gig that I finally was like, that's what I want to do. And so just jumped into it about just a year and a half ago, started doing the classes, and came and found my way back to the Hittner Group, because over the years I've bought and sold all my Minnesota properties with the Hittner Group, and it just seemed like a great fit.
What has been the most eye-opening thing since you observed it from the standpoint of a consumer?
Yep.
Tell us, once now that you're on the inside, what revelation have you had that is most striking to you, if you can think of it?
Well, I mean, the thing that I was not aware of were all the behind-the-scenes details of what it takes to buy and sell, and the moving parts that it takes, and how everything has to come together just perfectly at a specific hour on a specific day for a closing to happen. And the amount of work that goes into that, it's funny, soon after I started working with you guys, I called Sheila and I said, Sheila, I just thought real estate was easy.
It just kind of came together by
but
itself.
But it turns out you're just really good. So, I mean, that was the most striking thing to me, is how many moving parts there are and how many cogs in the wheel there are.
That's an interesting perspective, because a lot of consumers don't know, and we don't tell them.
No.
We just kind of do our thing, and it's something that we do on a day-to-day basis. So to be on that side of it and hear that perspective is interesting.
Yeah, and this week, as you guys know, I just had a stellar week. I had 5 closings this week.
Congratulations.
But 4 out of the 5 had a lot of issues, and that we made it to closing on each one was stunning. And, just different issues. One, it was a divorce situation on the other side that just got ugly. We didn't know if we were going to make it to closing. We had hail damage on a house.
Yeah.
Didn't know if we were going to make it to closing. So anyways.
So you had all kinds of great challenges. And
that's awesome that you got that exposure so early.
That's what Keith Sr. was telling me. I could have taken it a little bit spread out, maybe 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
But it was a huge learning experience. We got through it.
Sara would call and say, well, what do I do about this? What do I, so we just felt this is how, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to do. And I'd hang up the phone and I'd be just laughing. Because I just knew that her head was spinning like the Exorcist over there.
But got through it, did a great job getting through it. Everybody's pleased. I suppose minimal exposure to the client on, when issues are arising on the back end of things, you do what you can to minimize that for them. So the stress level for them is not at peak levels too.
Right, because homeowners or buyers and sellers have enough going on, right? Just moving, looking at their stuff. I mean, just moving is so stressful. And so being able to take that off, and there was one realtor I worked with on the other side who was absolutely dynamite too. She kept me even at bay from the issues she was dealing with. And so yeah, it looks seamless and easy.
And that's the one thing that we need, that we sometimes when we're in the business forget too, is that there's another side of the transaction, and for whatever we're dealing with on our side, there is stuff going on over there too, there always is, and a whole nother dynamic. So you've got, the events squared, if you will, that are, as you say, to come to, that's a good way to put it, is to come together on a specific day at a specific hour and have all of those issues resolved.
Yeah.
So that people are at the closing table, excited about what's about to happen,
Yes.
Smiling and, signing.
But
papers.
there's one piece that's selling the real estate, and I always make fun, hey, do you like this one? That's about all you guys do.
Right,
Drive
turn
by,
the
hey,
key in
like
the
that
door.
one? But
Right.
then it comes into this whole project management
Right.
thing that is clearly where the skill and
Yeah, and when we're talking to people, about selling their home, or we tell them, driving the traffic to the house, that's one thing.
yeah.
Pricing the house, that's another thing.
Yeah.
And those things we're very good at.
Yeah.
And the pricing of the house, for most people, they can go on, 1,000 websites now, because the information's all
close.
about, they get a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
When you walk in the
You
door.
get an idea,
If, they know kind of what their range is gonna be. That's the easy part of the whole thing. The hard part is what you're talking about.
Exactly.
It's dealing with the issues that always arise. They always come up. You never know where it's gonna be. And where you think it's gonna be and you kind of anticipate it, lots of times it doesn't resolve that way. It comes out another way.
Right.
And you just have to be quick on your feet. And then that's why we like experience and working with experience. Because once you've been through that a few times.
Tell us a little bit about your family.
Yeah, so I have two daughters. I have a 14-year-old daughter who is going to be starting high school
Mm-hmm.
in
Freshman year, right?
freshman year in a
Awesome.
couple weeks.
14
So,
going on 20.
I am proud to say my 14-year-old is a 14-year-old.
Good.
That's
She
awesome.
has, and I will say I have a great husband who has been completely involved from day one. He actually was a stay-at-home dad for 6.5 years and has a great relationship with our daughters, because we also have a 10-year-old daughter who is more going on 14.
Yeah.
But my 14-year-old, I'm really
Happy with.
so proud of everything she has done. And, she has some challenges in life that she just takes head on. And then my 10-year-old is just a little whippersnapper.
Mm-hmm.
She is just a delight. Everybody thinks very highly of her. She's just a great kid. And then my husband, Todd, he and I have been married. It'll be 17 years.
Wow. That's awesome.
I heard somebody say once, marriage, it's good for, about 90% of the time. But there's that 10%. And I will say, we've been through all of that, and raising
Right.
kids, it's tough. But he owns his own business. He's a house painter, True Tone Painters. He has another partner, and that's what he does. And we live in Stillwater, raising our girls out there. And as a family, we are avid skiers. That's our big thing, we've been skiing together as a family for about 6 years now.
That's
We
wonderful.
all started together, and it, hopefully, that's our thing, is into retirement. Todd and I want to stay in skiing and always have that.
Do you guys
something
wear
we do with
helmets
our
when you
kids.
ski?
Absolutely,
Yeah?
100%.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
We've had a lot of accidents. My family I'm the only one, knock on wood, who has not had broken bones or ended up in the hospital. They all have.
Well, that's the fun family, fun family thing.